Welcome to the fourth episode of the Asia Pacific Auto Podcast by S&P Global Mobility. I'm your host Gaurav Vangar, and today with us Manik Gupta, our regional experts for the Oceania light vehicle sales market. The region that sold 1.2 million units in 2022 and expected to remain stagnant for this decade. But today we will go deeper and we'll try to understand from the Manik what will be the Oceania market outlook and the trend. And then he will also provide us to understand what is housing increasing competition is coming between the Chinese and the Japanese car makers. Welcome, Manik, and thanks for speaking to us.
Thank you, Gaurav, for inviting me to the podcast. And I believe it is an exciting time for the oceanic auto market. And today's podcast will be very helpful for our listeners to understand what's affecting Australia on a global level and as well as from the inside. So, yeah, I look forward to it.
Okay, let's begin with the discussion on the current market conditions of the Australia market region, Manik. We understand there is no local production happening at Australia,
Hmm.
but the automotive market has also shown this stagnancy. But we when we see the recent market conditions, we also noticed the some uptrend growth in the market. Is there a shift in the trends of the auto sector, or if so, what would be the reason behind this shift? And is there any impact brought by some of the specific brands in the market? Can you please put some light on it?
Yes, definitely there has been an uptrend shift in the market that we have witnessed recently. So
Hmm.
post-COVID, there has been very much of a slow trend and stagnancy that has been witnessed, but that has been seen to be overcome in 2023. It comes from the recovery for the established players like the Japanese OEM, Toyota, and others. So they are the major market share in Australia, as well as the newcomers have been quite successful. The with the Chinese OEMs, the BYD and MG, we have seen quite a
Hmm.
success. As well as from Tesla, they have been able to make a mark on the overall market. So the this overall mixture has led to an uptrend growth in the market. Definitely.
Okay, so Tesla, BYD, I think there's some EV policies in the region. So can you put some light on the EV policies? Any national or the state-wise incentives movement recently regarding the promoting or demoting the electrification? Please,
Uh,
can you share that something about it?
yeah, definitely. So earlier this year, the government has announced that they will be bringing up an overall new electric vehicle strategy that
Mm-hmm.
is supposed to be announced by the late December or early 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So currently on a federal level, there is no strict EV policies for any OEMs to follow. But on a
Mm-hmm.
state level, we have witnessed quite some incentives and rebates for OEMs that bring their EVs to the market. So that sort of thing is already there. But with the announcement of the new EV strategy,
Mm-hmm.
we expect it would be somewhat on the grounds of some fuel efficiency standards that the OEMs would follow. It won't be a strict EV regulation that you have to make this much, but yeah, some standards are definitely going to be there.
Okay, okay. As you mentioned, the fuel economy standard. So, what's the government position right now for the fuel economy or the emission regulations in the future in Australia? Um, uh, they have announced earlier also the rough target, but not too much in the details. So, any move recently or likely assumptions or the risk and the opportunity related to it? Can you please
Uh,
put some
yes,
light on
so
it also? Yeah, please.
yeah, definitely. So as of now, on the name of a fuel efficiency standard, there's only a voluntary target that's in place by the FCAI. That's
Mm-hmm.
the autonomous body in Australia for regulating the auto market. But yeah, with the announcement of the new EV strategy, we expect that by 2025 or 2026, its impact would be coming in place where OEMs would need to at least to some degree hybridize or electrify their IC engines as well as
Mm-hmm.
put forward a step towards the EVs. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a very strict regulation is still something that we do not.
Okay, okay. So the next questions come from the. I was analyzing the Australia market before this podcast, And I saw that Toyota is losing its market share recently. And I was trying to find out the rationale behind it. Is it because of Tesla or Chinese car makers? And how you see the Japanese and Chinese competition emerging in Australia?
Yes, exactly. The impact has definitely been there, observed by car makers like Toyota and the major chunk of the established players, which are Japanese in Australia. So
Hmm.
Tesla has been able to make quite an impact. The Model Y is already the third highest selling vehicle in Australia overall, which is surprisingly a pickup dominated market. But they have been able to make an impact. And similarly, the Chinese OEMs like BYD and MG, they have been successful there by their cheaper EVs like the Atto 3 and the MG3, MG4, MGZS. So they are very exciting for anybody who wants to buy an EV. So they are able to take advantage of the incentives on the state level and the price comes further down. So it becomes a really exciting product for the customer.
Okay,
So
okay,
yeah,
okay.
their growth is being reflected as a loss for the Japanese firms.
Okay, so is it also supporting the trend of the EV penetration in the market? I believe because generally we have seen in the other regions also that Toyota tends to lose market share with the higher EV penetration or adoption.
Yeah, generally Toyota is not a very EV forward, I would like to say. But yeah, so there has been an EV penetration increase due to the Chinese and the Tesla. Definitely, we have seen that.
But I think Toyota is working on it. Toyota is bringing
Yeah.
multiple products on the EVs starting from coming years, and they have already brought something. But yes, let's see how this competition comes into the Australian market also. So the last very important section of our podcast, we generally ask to our each analyst that what are the specific questions the clients are asking to us regularly or to you at the Australia market. So is there any question which we wanted to understand and we got to understand from you recently that there's a pickup? So I just wanted to have the detailed discussion on this topic that we understand the pickups are the most favorite choice for the Aussie customers. And we just wanted to understand what would be the future for the pickup market in Australia, and do you see the segment seeing trend shift towards the long term? And if so, how will the change have this change will happen?
Yeah, so it is definitely the most favorite market for the Australian customers. And in the future, we see it growing even further. So the highest selling vehicles are already the Ford Ranger and the Hilux. They are the most favorite options for the Australian customers. And but the problem with the segment is that it is highly ICE dominated, and more and more OEMs are trying to, change their strategies with the powertrains. And going forward, we expect some degree of electrification in the segment. The most of the customers are interested in knowing about how the pickups are going to be electrified. So the challenge is that it becomes very costly to electrify a pickup, basically. But we have seen many OEMs trying to, bring their electrified versions. Like even BYD has announced their electric pickup for Australia, and there is interest from the Hyundai as well. So I believe in the long term, we would be seeing the plug-in hybrids and the electrified versions of these pickups coming to Australia. But yeah, it will be somewhat in the longer term.
Okay, great. Once again, thank you, Manik, for your valuable insight. I think this was wonderful discussion, and specifically regarding the pickup of future condition, that how the car makers are working on the EV pickups also, and we will look forward to staying updated on the excited developments and the breakthroughs that lie ahead for the Oceania market in the automotive sector. Uh, so, thank you, Manik, for your updates to us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone listening. Let's meet again in our next episode of the Asia Pacific Auto Podcast by S&P Global Mobility. Thank you very much.